You might remember some years ago there was a planning application for Fassaroe on the far side of the N11 between Bray and Enniskerry, and it was going to include a Lewis stop and all sorts of things, and then the Celtic Tiger sort of disappeared. Well, it looks like the plan is back again, because the Cosgrave Property Group has lodged a planning application with Wicklow County Council for this development. Let's talk to local TD, Sinn Féin TD, and Deputy John Brady. John, good morning.
Good morning, Declan. How are you?
Good morning to you. You remember, of course, you were around then when the plan was first mooted as regards the Lewis going in and all sorts of developments. Now it's back. How do you read it?
Yeah, well, I suppose I give it a cautious welcome. It's a huge planning application that has come in, Declan, and people may be aware that this goes back. There was a master plan put in place for all of that area. It's a huge site up there, the old Fassaroe lands owned by the Cosgrave group, and they put in place a master plan for the area going back to 2010, and that plan is still in place at the moment. So the application that came in, it arrived to Wicklow County Council last Thursday. It was only validated on Friday, and it's I suppose, planned to do the overall development in 3 phases. So the first application was for the first phase of that development, and that consists of 658 residential units. That's broken down, 390 apartments, 268 houses. It's also 3 substantial office blocks, 6 retail units, public plaza, creche, district park, etc. So it's a huge planning application that came in. Now, there is no, I suppose, plans in place at this point for the Lewis line to run in. As I said, there is going to be 2 further phases of this overall development, which will ultimately bring it up to 1,800 housing units when the overall plan and development is in place. So it's a massive development.
It sounds like it's like Cherrywood Part 2 further down the road. Yeah,
well, I suppose some of the pundits are saying this is going to be bigger than Cherrywood. It's going to be the largest residential development in the kind of South Dublin area. They're describing it as South Dublin. Indeed, it's North Wicklow.
Yeah, and part of it, I think, is in Dunleary, Rathdown Council.
Yeah, part of it. Yeah, it straddles the border there between the two. Indeed, it does.
Right, so you've a cautious welcome to it. I mean, the housing would be welcome. I don't know what the plan is with any social housing in there or affordable houses or what. Yeah. Is there a stipulation to have a certain amount?
Yes. All new applications, people may remember Part 5 of the Housing Act that was changed. It was 20% social and affordable. That has changed. It's now 10%. So in phase 1, we will get 65 units. Now, as I said, the plans are still being gone through, so I'm not sure as to how that's going to be incorporated in the overall development. But as I said, it has to be welcomed. 65 social units has to be welcomed. How it's going to be rolled out in the overall development, I've yet to see. But people in the area also know that, look, I mean, there's a chronic shortage of rental accommodation in the area, anyone on rent supplement, etc. And also there's a huge shortage of affordable accommodation. So certainly I'd be trying to ensure that, this it isn't just for the privileged or whatever, that, a lot of this can be affordable to accommodate many people in the North Wicklow and broader Wicklow area, trying to get a roof over their head. They may have some small savings, etc. So, hopefully this will provide a first step on the ladder for people. So, it has to be welcomed. But, as I said, when I actually sit down and have a look at the overall plan, I mean, there are some residential units in the area up off Berryfield Lane, and that's how it's going to impact on them. I know I have spoken to some of the residents there prior to the application going in, and they had some concerns based on the master plan that has been about since 2005. So, when I say, I cautiously welcome it without actually seeing the finer detail and how it is going to impact on some of those existing residents in the area. But, there's two other phases to come about here. There is provision, and as I outlined there, ultimately there's going to be 1,800 units here, so there is provision for new schools, both primary and secondary, and they need to be brought on stream as quickly as possible, because there is going to be a huge demand for those, and there's also going to be it's going to be critical that all other infrastructure goes in as early as possible. So I welcome the fact that the district park is contained in this, and anyone that's involved in any sports, etc., in the Bray area knows there's a chronic shortage of playing pitches for soccer, etc. So there's a huge demand for parklands and open space. So hopefully that will be able to cater for all of that.
Yeah, well, I suppose the Lewis will have to be part of it in some way, because that N11 M50 merge is just bloody awful, and people will be stuck in that forever. And if there's more houses and more people coming through it, shouldn't the tailback be into Donnybrook? To be pretty bad.
Absolutely, and I'm sure the NTA will be looking at this very, very closely. But the line into Bray, it is contained in the National Transport Authority's Greater Dublin Area Transport Strategy, which runs from 2016 up to 2035. And people may remember that's a 10 billion plan that is still very much being rolled out, and the extension, the Green Line extension into Bray is part of that. So that would be welcome. Hopefully that can be moved on quicker, as opposed to 2035, which is still 20 odd years away.
Yes, indeed.
So look, there's a lot of positives in all of this, Declan. It's a huge application. As I said, it's going to take, I think, a decision is due by the 1st of November. Now, I can safely say, I'd imagine that's going to be extended just due to further information, etc., such as the scale of this plan. Now, it will be on the County Council website. I know a lot of the files will have to be scanned in and put on the County Council website, and people will be able to make observations or submissions right up until the 1st of October.
All right, thanks very much indeed, John. Thanks very much indeed.
All right, thanks a million.
Thank you, bye-bye. Deputy John Brady of Sinn Féin about that development there. So how'd you fancy that? They're talking about around Ballyman Road, the old, I suppose there's a golf course there at one stage, but there are lots and lots of empty fields and things, and it looks to be some sort of a cherrywood development that would be moved down, that's sort of part two, around about the N11, between Bray, Old Connor, that sort of area. Beautiful sort of countryside around there, but it have lots of houses and apartments, and it did the office blocks as well, but they probably need it. Your views always welcome. The text number is 087 77 11 103.
The Morning Show.